Okay, guys. So here's a age old myth that I'm gonna bust. Pay scale between office and non-office work. I'll tell you something. Okay, it's very closely related to the number of people you manage, and if you don't manage any body, like you just specialist, you don't manage anybody. Most likely, you'll top out about, if you're in high demand, maybe 60 grand. But here's how the pay scale works. Okay, so whether you sing for a living or whether you work in an office, the first job you get will probably be like $20 an hour. Uh, no, the first job you get would be $20,000 a year. That's like $10,000 an hour, right? $20,000 a year, but it depends on the minimum wage in your area. So actually, you can get an office job at minimum wage, and it sounds the same. It sounds the same as pushing coffee, except the office environment, like the corporation, is your gateway to career, right? I mean, it depends on your career, right? But whether you start like on the floor in a retail environment or in office, it's about 25,000, maybe 20, just a few bucks more than minimum wage, right? Like you're just like skimming minimum wage, and then your pay, you sort of like you get these incremental pay raises the longer you keep at it. And I think that's the same for art as well. Like when you first started, everybody's living at home just skimming minimum wage, right? And it would be really good if you're an artist and you just through your art alone you're skimming minimum wage. That puts you the same as somebody in white collar office, somebody on a retail floor. And then the longer you keep at it, your 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 wage is supposed to grow, um, so like little by little, right? Until until it's sort of you sort of become like a specialist in what you do. Um, what else can I say? Your 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 salary doesn't really take off until you start managing people. All right, and so and the number of people you manage, all right, uh, is directly correlated to your pay. So you can be CEO for a medium company, right? And you manage, say, 20 people, right? Your pay would be the same as, say, a director at a bigger company who also manages 20 people. You understand? Because above him, someone senior manages him and his 20 and then another 20, right? You work for a multinational and you're CEO, you're managing like a million people. And it is sort of direct management because if any area has a problem, you sort of like you have to figure it out. Um, so the more people you're managing, your pay goes up, and it doesn't really matter the title; it's the number of people you're managing. Um, so let's say you work retail, and on shift there's like how many people? Maybe three people. So the manager who manages like three people every shift, right? Um, with rotating part-time people, uh, he or she might get, I don't know, 45, 50, 45 maybe, 50 maybe, just the store manager. And then the regional manager has to manage the manager, the store manager, and those three, and all the people. all the part-timers rotate. If you're an artist, right, the number of people you manage is like, well, I only manage myself all the time. No, the number of people you manage are your fans, but like your real fans. Like we just saw like Paul McCartney and Wings, real fans. Like they're more popular than Jesus. Real fans who shell out money. Real fans. They are like CEO of a million people. You think, oh, I can do whatever I want. I can act a buffoon in front of everybody, and they'll be with me. No, just like Jesus cannot act like a buffoon, and people will follow him. He is Jesus because he was always acting like Jesus. So, like Wings or the Beatles, you got a million fans. You got to manage that. They're real people shelling out money. Got to manage a million people, just like CEO that might have to manage a million people. Now, your local artist, you have a fan base, maybe have what, a couple hundred, like real people. Then you ought to be making the same as a manager that's, a director or a VP that's managing a couple hundred people, like real people who consistently come out and see you all the time. If only 50 people come out all the time to see you, like they're always rotating like part-timers, then you're really only managing 50 people. So you might make the same as director, a corporate director managing 50 sales, like, managing an office of 50 people. Maybe only 20 people come out to see you all the time. If that, maybe 15 people come out to see you all the time, but they're always rotating like part-timers, then you're really only managing 15 people. If you have no idea, then you have no idea, then you're actually making less than a cab driver. I'll tell you something. Speaking about art, the naked cowboy and the cab driver, and maybe even me. Um, Even we have an idea of what's in store for our day. We have a very concrete sense. And ironically, if I was wearing, before and I was working at white collar office, I was making the same as a cabbie, and I believe I would be making the same as the singing cowboy, because when he shows up there on his spot, when the cabbie gets in his cab for a shift, like I show up in the morning, my day is very predictable, and we know the volume of people we have to deal with. We practically all three of us make the same rate. If you have no idea, then you're sort of still skimming that minimum wage. Sometimes you're lucky. It's pure luck. It's like a junior salesperson, pure luck. But people who got down, so like, people just coming out all the time for an artist, recognizable. Yeah, very recognizable. The cabbie, same route, very reliable. Me always showing up. I know if I work, what I got to deal with that day. We make the same. About, I would say, 40 to 50,000 a year. Kid you not, that is the way it is. Come on, James Bond. Not bad.